Good afternoon. My name is Kevin Ugarte, and this in this presentation will be give you the most relevant of English culture in the field of the music and cinema. My theme is William Shakespeare, and I talk to the legacy in the literature. William Shakespeare, often regarded as one of the greatest writers in the English language, has left during legacy in literature. Born in 1564, his works, including plays, sonnets, and poems, have the profound influence on storytelling, language, and theater. His most famous works, such as Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet, Macbeth, and Othello, explore themes of love, powers, and betrayal. Shakespeare's contributions to literature are vast. He enriched the English language, coined hundreds of words and paraphrases still in the use today. His plays have to be translated into very major language and continue to the performance worldwide, adapting to the modern context while preserving their timeless relevance. Shakespeare's exploration to complex characters and performance emotional continues to inspire writers, directors, and artists, solidify his place as cornerstone of Western literary tradition. Contribution to English culture. Uh, Shakespeare introducing thousands of words of paraphrase still in the use today, such as break the ice and will going choice. Theatrical innovation. His works feature complex plots and character exploration deep, universal emotions, and Shakespeare brought the life unforgettable figures like Hamlet and Macbeth, etc. Universal and timeless themes. Shakespeare works address themes that remain relevant today, such as love, ambition, betrayal, and morality. Impact of the stars. Shakespeare's works have been adapted into films, operas, ballets, and more, and shaping English culture identify. His historical plays like Richard and Henry helped form the narrative around England's greatness and power, influencing how English history and national identity are perceived.
Fantasy had a massive impact on the world literature, especially in the fantasy genre. His most influential works, The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, redefined modern fantasy, establishing many of the archetypes and conventions that still dominate the genre today. His key contribution includes songs like The World Building. Tolkien introduced an unprecedented level of detail in constructed fictional worlds, creating languages, histories, mythologies, and cultures for Middle-earth. And basically, what he did was like build his own reality from scratch. Language, environments, the species that he navigated. So he could play with everything that involves that, like physics and the way they have relations. That led to a great liberty at the moment that you're writing something because you don't get attached to some specifics or don't get defined by some things that you need to respect because you're doing whatever you want in your own world. Inspiration from European mythologies. His work drew heavily from Anglo-Saxon, Norse, and Celtic myths and legends, reviving the interest in these traditions in modern culture. He brought back all these old myths and legends and presented it to the new generations making them more attractive to read. So that's a very good point that he also did by uh, writing all his books. Influence in contemporary fantasy. Writers like George R. R. Martin, Patrick Rothfuss, and J.K. Rowling have been influenced by his work. His epic fantasy model has been replicated in novels, films, video games, role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons, Witcher, um, what else can I say? All these fantasy games or role-playing games, most of them have inspiration in all the books that R.J.J. Tolkien uh, writes. So that's a good contribution to all the industry behind the fantasy genre. Revival of British fantasy. Alongside authors like C.S. Lewis, Tolkien helped establish British fantasy literature as a global standard. He proved the British literature like the bar a good fantasy literature need to be. So they set the standards. So that's a very good contribution to British culture. Academic and cultural legacy. As a physiologist and professor, he promoted the study of ancient languages and mythologies, influencing generations of scholars and readers. He was also a great physiologist and professor and motivated all his students and others to to study in all the Asian languages and mythologies. In short, Tolkien not only transformed fantasy literature but also set a benchmark for world building, leaving an indelible mark on popular culture and global literature.
J.K. Rowling Grand Hero Masterpiece. J.K. Rowling is currently the most famous and widely read in the world to the Harry Potter fantasy series. It blends fairy tales, the hero's journey, modern school novels, and coming of age stories, creating literary style that feels both familiar and traditionally British. The author emphasizes that some of the influences for creating the magical world of Hogwarts School came from British folklore, culture, and mythology. Hadwell has from the Bible. She was also inspired the mythical characters such as Hector, Achilles, Patroclus, Macbeth, and the fantasy books of Narnia. The British author's real name is Jonah Jane Rowling, but since she began writing the series, she adopted the pen name J.K. Rowling as the publisher, fighting that readers might not pick up the new stories if they knew it was written by a woman. The car is part of tribute the author made to his grandmother was named was Kathleen. The impact of Harry Potter. Over the years, the story of Joe Wizard in Tiny has become a cultural and literature phenomenon impacting people of all ages who have grown up not only with the books and movies, but also with games, music, stage productions, and new series that is already rekindling the passion for magic. One of the most significant impacts of Harry Potter in popular culture is its role in reviving interest in reading and literature. The books I made that children and you adults have inspired a generation of kids to develop a love for reading. The series is also credited with popularizing the fantasy literature genre, which has become increasingly popular in recent years.
Myths and legends. Myths and legends in the United Kingdom. There are quite a few myths and legends that have transcended the countries, the borders to the entire world. Those experience and multiple stories. It's important to understand that myths and legends are not the same. Myth, these are ancient stories full of magicians, creatures of gods and mysteries. There are no based on facts or reality. Legends. Are stories that tell humans of supernatural events which are transmitted from generation to generation orally or written within a family, a clan, or people. Some of the myths and legends that know worldwide are the following Arthurian legends: Robin Hood, Brutus of the Troy, the Loch Disney monsters, the impact in the culture. The Arthurian legends, the mother of Brittany Arthurian myth or Arthurian legend, is the collective name the unnecessary of texts written during Middle Age about Celtic traditions and the legendary stories of the British Isles and Brittany, especially those centered of King Arthur and the King of the Round Table. Robin Hood. Robin Hood is an archetype of the hero and outlaw from medieval English folklore. Inspired in Gino di Itaco, his character is man called Robin Lowstreet or Robin of Locksley, boy big, who will be big heart and wildlife observe the loud, hidden in the forest of Chisburg and Barnsley, near the city on the Nottingham. Many legends and myths we see in general culture, many books are represented from these part stories, and many take the concept of the legends and myths and create new stories, thus making the world of literature create new